Welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me again. If you are returning and if you're new, I am Ananda Shakti. I am an intuitive, a conduit for the angelic realm, a conscious channel. And on this channel, we receive guidance from the angelic realm to assist us in the alchemical awakening that we're going through to embody and to welcome new earth. How I receive is in a what I would call like a semi-trance state. It's very awake. Sometimes I will even have my eyes open. I have been sitting in this position of being a conduit for the angelic realm now for almost 25 years. It is an experience of being bathed in unconditional love. And the angelic realm see things from a very lofty overview, which is wonderful because it's from that place that they can show us how to step out of the old paradigm and how to release ourselves from the patterns of karma in the way that we understand karma up until this time. The angelic realm have been speaking to myself and my colleagues now since the late 90s about this time, preparing us to be as open to the change as possible, which means really that we need to come out of living in memory, out of living in survival, and into unity and into love. And so you'll find that all of the transmissions, in one way or another, are talking about this. And this one that's coming up, it really highlights what we need to understand to step into this quantum awakening, this timeline shifting, which is an ultimately discovering the light and the love that you are, being able to discern between what you are and what you are not. And from that place, the automatic ability to make the change and the choices come. I hope you enjoy. I'm in Canada now. I'm visiting friends and family. This is my hometown, Toronto, and it's been an extremely vibrant time. And the energies, as I know you're all aware of, have been over the top. So on a very personal level, I've been feeling incredible surges of energy that make me very animated, that make me very tired, that go through all sorts of different stages within my being. And I've been talking to other people that have been going through similar experiences, a lot of psychological revisiting. And I don't know if you remember that one of the transmissions recently, they said this was going to happen, that there was going to be a profound experience of revisiting memory. And what we want to do with that is like, it's not a problem in any way. We don't have to feel like, oh, why am I having that thought? I thought I worked through all of that. We don't need to go there at all. It's divinely orchestrated. You're being cleared out. It's like the closets are being cleared out because more light is coming in and you are welcoming into your cells more of who you are. So what their guidance was very simple. I love the angelic realm for that, because even though they're dealing with extremely lofty and profound ideas, usually the solution is pretty simple, not necessarily easy, because the habituated ego structure of the old paradigm has to get on board to agree with it. But that's what we're doing here, isn't it? So their guidance for that memory flood that's coming up is to approach the old with the new, not with the old. And what that means is, so for instance, you have a memory of, say, something that was very painful, very difficult, and say you realize, oh, I haven't fully dealt with that yet. That's why this memory is there. It's coming up and there's parts of it that I haven't felt yet, and whatever, something like that. If it's coming up, it means that it's flowing through and it just is something that you're experiencing. We don't need to re-experience everything we've been through, yet some of it at this stage in our evolution, we do. And our divine self, our higher self, knows what we need to and what we don't. So we can trust when something is coming up. Okay, so that's great. So there's some communication with our consciousness, our conscious self with this past imprint that is important for our further growth. Maybe it's bringing us wisdom, maybe it's just bringing some relief, something. Yet the idea is to look at it fully as if we're looking at it from the new, not from the old. So you could be in the depths of emotional release and still not be relating to it in the old, which means as if it is actually yours, that it is you, that you are limited by it, and that you're trying to work yourself out of it or resolve it. All of those things are the old way, are the old paradigm. We are now in this new paradigm. We are in this quantum awakening where we can start to recognize that the suffering that we've been identified with is part of a story. And I will speak much more about this as I continue on in these podcasts. But that's enough right now. So relate to it from the new. So it's coming up, so let's just give a really extreme example. You're in the depths of despair. Something so deep is coming up. What you want to do is remind yourself, this is clearing itself out of my system. The reason I am feeling this right now is because it's clearing itself out of my system to make room for more of the light who I really am. This is a false reality. This is a memory I've been holding. So this is the technique. You see, it's actually simple, but you can also imagine that it may not be so easy to remember in those moments. And that's why we have things like these kinds of podcasts, and we have our communities, we have everything. We need to keep reminding each other. That's the gift of the many that we have right now. So this particular transmission is also speaking about this idea of the great light, and it refers into the memory body again. So they're giving us more understanding and more guidance. And I'm going to read this one to you. So let's take a couple of deep breaths. It's always good to kind of center and ground, because even though I'm reading it right now, it's not a live transmission. The words are full of the transformative quantum healing that comes from the angelic realm. So the more open, grounded, centered, integrated we are, the more it starts to have the permission to go into the deeper places. So close your eyes for a minute. Simply start off by becoming aware of your breath. So what's happening? Can you feel the breath in your nostrils? Are you feeling it in your belly? You might have been rushing around in your day and completely forgotten that you're breathing. So now this is a remembering. And as we remember the breath, then we allow it to start to get deeper. We invite it into a deepness that has a softness to it. We're not forcing, it's not a big one, nothing like that. We don't need that. That is not needed for where we're going. We've done a lot of that harder kind of pushing through energies. We've done that already. Now we're learning how to soften, and through the softness connect to this more subtle realms. The subtle realms are the stronger realms. What you are experiencing as 3D reality birthed from a dimension that you can't even see right now. It's so subtle. It's birthing from a source reality. What is subtle is much stronger than what comes into 3D form. And our breath is one of the great vehicles to start to discover this through. So as you continue to breathe, you're breathing fully, but it's a soft breath. And start to feel just spontaneously how the tensions, whether they might be physical, emotional, or mental tensions, how they just immediately start to yield. They're agreeing to the yielding process because they're not being pushed in any way. They're not being bullied in any way. They're being invited. And the invitation is a beautiful one. And that is what's happening to all of us right now. We are being invited by these incredible beings and by the source creation itself into a greater experience of who we are. And so as we are opening to this invitation, so we are inviting all parts of ourselves. Parts that want to let go, to create more space for the light, parts that are ready to step forward. Really think about life right now as an invitation inside and out. And make it the kind of invitation that you would like to receive. I'm going to begin the transmission. Beloved children of the light, you are surrounded by grace at all times. Your source is light. Your beginning is light. Your ending is light. Your mother is light. Your father is light. Your sister is light. Your brother is light. Your friend is light. Your lover is the light. And at this great threshold of time in which you stand, between the veils of time that have clouded your vision and the new horizons that are waiting for you, your medicine is to focus on the light. So they're really spelling it out. Mother, father, brother, sister, friend, lover, beginning, ending, surrounding us at all times is the light. And so as we stand at this threshold of time that is like between the veils, like we've had these veils, you know, in the Vedic teachings, they speak often about veils. So we've had veils. Sometimes we talk about it like dust in the eyes, and it's actually time itself. And we'll talk more about that as we go through. We've had these veils, we've had this dust in our eyes that are simply cloud our vision. A veil clouds your vision. Dust clouds your vision. It just happens that way. And so now we're standing still. We're still in some of the veils for sure, right? We're still working it through, but we're standing in this in-between place between these veils and the new horizons that are waiting for us. So we're not fully into the new earth. We're not fully into the old veils. We're not fully out of them either. So we're in this in-between place. And they say now the best medicine for us in this in-between place is focusing on the light. And this is the medicine for all of your situations, no matter how difficult they may be, no matter how insensitive something may seem from the outside or from the inside, no matter how unkind something may be. The medicine is the light. No matter what they're saying, whether we're experiencing really deep, difficult inward experiences, whether we're having enormous triggers by many of the things that are happening in the planet right now, the medicine is the light. And they explain to us how this is not bypassing and how we can use this for our greatest good. So here we go. Keep your attention on the light. This is not bypassing. It is awakening higher wisdom. And this higher wisdom will guide you with intelligence on how to respond to the problems, to the crises, to the catastrophes if they rise, that the collective consciousness is experiencing now as it's going through its shaking. It's shaking itself free of the old perceptions of time. So they're saying that the reason it's not bypassing to focus on the light in this particular way is that the light is a much more intelligent force. It is going to guide you with wisdom about how to deal in a practical way with anything that you need to deal with in this world and beyond. But let's just talk about, this kind of practical thing. We are here in this 3D at this time, and we need to make decisions. We need to make choices. That's part of 3D. So focusing on the light awakens this higher wisdom. It aligns us with the higher wisdom so that these decisions that we're making will come from a greater intelligence. We'll have a much greater overview, much deeper understanding, and a much greater experience of love that it shares with its action. Whatever the action may be that you're taking, it will be much more deeply connected to love, which everybody really wants in their heart of hearts, isn't it? So if you can allow yourself moments of quiet each day and focus on the great light that lives within you, you will discover that it is the mother of creation and it is the servant of creation as well. So there's a few things here. Let's just talk about these few moments a day. Few moments of quiet each day. Truly, 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 if you can find a few moments, it's hard to believe that anybody in the world, I mean, yes, of course, there's some circumstances that it could be if you're in war zones and things like that, but maybe even there, 5 minutes at least, where you're just in this inner place of quiet with yourself, focusing on the light. You can spend as long as you like, but if you do have time constrictions, or even you just don't really feel like you can sit and focus like that for very long, just give yourself 5 minutes. And the key is the consistency. Just doing it every day, even when you don't feel like it, and actually, especially when you don't feel like it. Just sit yourself down and do it anyways. You'll find the moments that you do it when you really don't want to, you're going to have the most beautiful awakening of all the awakenings. I've experienced that so many times in my life. So just take that minute, you take those 5 minutes, or take 5 hours, whatever it is that you got, that you want to do, that you feel inspired to do, and focus on the great light that lives within you. So just take the awareness to the eyebrow center or to the heart center, whatever comes most naturally for you, whatever feels most natural, and see this great light that lives within you. You may not be a visual person, that's totally fine. Just imagine. It doesn't make it any less. All imagination becomes reality at some point. Just imagine. Some people are visual, they will see. Some people will imagine, they will imagine. Both people are doing the same experience. People are just wired in different ways. Some people are kinetic, some people are auditory, some people are visual. They're wired in different ways. It doesn't make one thing better than the other. So whatever you are, if it's heart or if it's eyebrow center, choose your point. Focus on that great light and be telling yourself this is the light that lives within you. Okay, because this is what they want us to do. They want us to wake up to the light that lives within us. And the incredible beauty that they describe in the next sentence is that, so we'll start to have this experience. If you do this every day, you will have this experience. I can promise you, I've gone through these different stages so many times, and I go through it again. Like, it's beautiful, because the thing that's beautiful about spirituality and about the idea of time is that when you step into spiritual practice, it's always brand new. So it's never dull in that way. When you really step into it, it feels like the first time. And that's what's so beautiful about it. So you'll start to feel like, oh, this light, oh, I'm feeling the light. It's starting to feel like it's the source of creation. I can feel that it's the mother of creation. And if you stick with it, you're going to also begin to feel that not only is it the source of creation, but it is the servant of creation, that it is serving you as well as creating you. This is kind of a paradox, right? It's kind of a funny thing to speak in English, but when you experience it energetically, so many, if not all of your worries will dissolve into the love that you are. The next line that they speak is, so when you have this awareness of the mother of creation also being the servant of creation, you will start to get a glimpse of the illusions of time. So when you start to connect to this divine light that lives within you, when you start to have a really active relationship with you, you're going to start to notice memory, and you're going to start to notice illusion. Things that were just the way things are going to not be so much the way things are, because the light body is started to become activated. And when you start to see the illusions of time, you will start to see that the suffering that you have experienced and that you see around you is actually an expression of a perception of time. This is one of the most liberating experiences from 3D that you can find. And it is, if you look around at the level of the suffering that we see in the world, it is one of the greatest gifts for anybody to experience. You start to realize, you start to have this direct embodied experience that the suffering is coming from memory. It's a perception of time. It's taking something from another time and living in it. And when you start to decide to live in the light, which is in the now, in current time, you won't have to live in that any longer. The suffering will start to quantum. This is where quantum awakening comes in. It quantums itself out. Things like, we often hear of people near-death experiences, illnesses, things like that. The way that it just dissolves itself is because the timeline has shifted. And this is what it requires to shift the timeline, is to first of all see that you actually are the light, that is your mother, your father, your friend, your lover, your children, etc. And then to see that the suffering that you've been experiencing is a state of time that is connected to the past, and to release yourself from that identification with that timeline. I hope this is making sense. It's deep. Listen to it a few times. If let yourself live into it. These are deep teachings. These are teachings that, spiritual teachings that, the nature of spiritual teaching is that it's repeated over and over and over again, because it takes time to move through the different layers of karmic imprint, the different layers of 3D time that is more dense. It takes time. So listen to things that kind of like that interest you, but you're not quite sure exactly what it means. Listen to it more than once. Listen to it many times until it starts to become a living experience for you. All spiritual knowledge is meant to be a living, embodied experience. It's not meant just to stay in the head as a concept. We want to make it alive. It is every human being's birthright to make it alive within them. The next line is, so through this understanding that we have, this suffering is actually a perception of time, you will begin to understand that time is not an absolute yet. It is an infinite. So it's not an absolute. It is an infinite instead. So time is infinite in its nature. Where we're really going is into timelessness. But that's kind of a strange concept, right? It feels like it's just floating around and it's like a hard sense of existence. Let's just wait until we experience that directly ourselves. Find yourself in the moment, find yourself out of memory, give yourself step-by-step movements through this timing that we are in when our old version of time is being dismantled, completely dismantled. And it's happening whether we like it or not, right? We all know this. It's going on whether we like it or not. So let's like it and let's move with it. When you welcome this truth that time is not an absolute, so there's nothing absolute about any of those timelines that you've had in your cellular memory that are connected to suffering, connected to limitation. There's nothing absolute about them. So when you come to this truth, when you welcome this truth, into your conscious, active cellular experience of life, so I bring it right into my cellular experience right here, right now. I'm telling myself over and over again. I have a memory about something that troubled me, memory about something that troubled me, memory about some trauma. None of it is an absolute. There's nothing about that I have to relive or take forward with me. So then I will be able to shift my timeline out of the pain of illusion and disharmony. So when we welcome this truth that we don't need to be living in this absolute timeline, that we want an infinite timeline, when we bring it consciously, so a conscious decision to bring it into our active cellular experience and our life, then we'll be able to shift our timelines and move out of the pain of illusion and out of disharmony. And from this awakening, this is so beautiful, you will be able to support others in their transformation. So sometimes people get a little bit stopped up because they feel like, well, that's great. I'm going and spending, an hour a day focusing on the light, and there's all this trouble around me and people are suffering and everything like that. How is this helpful? Is this not just really selfish? It's not. It's not at all. Everybody has a part to play. Some people are meant to be, boots on the ground out there doing it in this kind of a way. Some people are meant to sit and focus on the light. Everybody has something extremely valuable to share. So from this awakening of really starting to understand what time is and starting to see that the suffering that we experience is connected to memory, it's a timeline that we do not need to bring forward with us. From this true cellular awakening in our being, when we start to experience this transformational process, we will be able to support each other. We will be able to support others in the same transformation. So it's extremely, extremely helpful. Then they say, so if you choose to move forward with this guidance that we are offering, this meditation on the light, please know that we will assist you. As you sit each day in meditation on this great light, and on the revelation of infinite time. So as we sit every day in meditation on the great light and the revelation of infinite time, call us to guide you. Invite us, for we do need an invitation to join you. So they've spoken about this many times. The angelic realm are extremely high level consciousness beings. They do not interfere with karma. They have to be invited. So you must invite them. So they're saying, so if you're choosing, because again, they're all about choice, they're saying, this is what it could be. If you want to choose this, we would be so thrilled to help you with it. So when you sit down for your meditation, just as you're getting ready to start on your meditation on the great light and the great light within you and the revelation of infinite time, call them in, invite them. You are invited to come now and assist me in this meditation. You can say whatever you like, but something along that line. Bring the invitation. And they'll come. We look forward to meeting you in timelines that are less dense and are less identified with memory and the past, and seated gracefully in the truth and the love that you are. So, let's close the eyes again and take a few deep breaths. And now, as you're breathing again, make it soft but deep. So you're breathing in actually all of the vibration of all of the words now, and you're inviting it into your cells. We're looking for cellular transformation. This is when it becomes permanent, when it gets invited into rewriting the cells. And as we shift out of the identification with the memory timelines, we will begin to activate new strands of DNA. They're already with you. It's just a matter of you shifting your identity towards the direction. You have the universe within you, more than the universe. You have the source of creation within you. Where you focus that source frequency, that identity, then it activates it and awakens it. Thank you so much for joining me. Please know that you can have personal sessions with the Angelic Realm. I offer personal sessions. You can do personal quantum awakening sessions, really starting to understand what the deepest karmic pattern is for you. We call it a core soul story. The identification of it so that we can release then your identity out of it and start to move to what the angelic are calling the soul's gift. So they're facilitating us to step into the heaven and earth being, which is the new form of humanity in the way that they're naming it. I know there are many different names. So these sessions are available. I will put my web site down below. You can reach me that way. And thank you. Thank you for joining. And I hope to see you again. And please like, share, all of those beautiful things, because it does really help the information get around. So much love, so much light to you.